Both in football and in everyday life, there are actions and there are consequences. A footballer's lack of sportsmanship and respect to others may backfire after many years or at times straight away. Today we're going to tell you about the most notable karma in action stories football has ever seen. But first, we would like to ask you a question. Which one of these famous Dutchmen spoke up about Messi before the World Cup fixture and said these words? Messi isn't a leader. He doesn't have personality. Playing with Messi means 10 versus 11. Only to see the Netherlands lose to Argentina and Leo lifting the World Cup trophy. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Marco van Basten, Ruud Gullit, Wesley Sneijder. Feel free to leave your answers in the comments. And now, get ready for watching. Here we go. Neven Subotic and Arjen Robben. In April 2012, Borussia Dortmund faced Bayern. The outcome of that fixture could have determined the Bundesliga champion. 76 minutes in, Robert Lewandowski found the opening for Borussia, but that was just the beginning. 9 minutes later, Bayern earned a penalty, and the one to take it was Arjen Robben. But the Dutchman lost his duel with Roman Weidenfeller. The Borussia defender Neven Subotic was convinced that there was no foul and Robben was just acting. So after Arjen missed from the spot, the Serb came up to him to have a laugh at the winger. In the end, the Bundesliga title went to Borussia, while Robben missed from the spot yet again later that season, in the Champions League final against Chelsea. Bayern found no luck in the Champions League either, and the Dutchman had to face devastating criticism. The following season, however, was marked with Bayern's triumph, as they won both the Bundesliga and the German Cup. They made it into the Champions League final as well, and their opponents were once again Borussia Dortmund. It was about to end in a 1-1 draw, but Robben got the ball, dribbled past the defenders, and scored a very late winner against the rival Subotic. After that, another Bayern player, Jerome Boateng, came up to laugh at the Serb, just like Subotic himself did against Robben a year ago. So in the end, Bayern players got their revenge, even though they had to wait for it for a whole year. Andriy Shevchenko and Oliver Kahn. It was the second leg of the 2005-06 Champions League round of 16 tie, and Milan was eager to build on the away goal advantage they earned in the first leg against Bayern, which ended 1-1. Filippo Inzaghi found the opener early on, and a bit later Milan was awarded a penalty. Andriy Shevchenko came up to take a shot, and surprisingly failed to keep his composure and missed. Oliver Kahn, pleased with his opponent wasting an opportunity, decided to make it even worse for the Ukrainian. So he said, "You're not going to score against me today, don't even bother trying." But only a minute later, it turned out that the Bayern goalkeeper was terribly wrong. A cross from the right found Shevchenko's head and went on. Kahn could have saved that one, but was just too slow to react. The game ended 4-1, and such a defeat was surely a good lesson for Oliver. Pau Lopez and Lionel Messi. There was an accident in the Catalan derby in the 2015-16 season. Barca were playing Espanyol at home. Messi was trying to take a shot, and Pau Lopez, the Espanyol keeper, decided to make the most out of the mess in the box and deliberately stepped on Leo's foot. The episode was overlooked by the referee, and as there was no VAR, the keeper got away with it. Once the Argentine got up, he rushed to his offender, but his teammate Luis Suarez took Leo aside and calmed him down. After a halftime break, when all the dust settled, Messi earned a long-range free kick. Pau Lopez probably didn't expect Leo to take a shot from such a distance, but he did take a shot, and it went in off the bar. While Messi was celebrating his goal, Suarez came up to Lopez and started mocking him, shouting something. That was the moment Pau Lopez realized that he shouldn't have been that rude to Messi in the first half. Cristiano Ronaldo and Armenian fans. The story involving Cristiano and Armenian fans took place in 2015. The Portuguese was warming up, and while he was preparing himself for the game, the fans were chanting the name of Cristiano's biggest rival, Lionel Messi. Once Ronaldo heard them, he raised his hand to his ear as if saying, "I can't hear you." But anyway, once the game started, the Portuguese silenced his haters. He scored 3 goals, and each one was followed with that very gesture, raising a hand to the ear. Portugal won 3-2. And who knows, maybe it was that very messy chant that gave Ronaldo extra strength and motivation to lead his team to victory and upset his haters. DeAndre Yedlin and Olivier Giroud. It was the 2018-19 Premier League season, and Chelsea played Newcastle. The Magpies were trailing 1-0 83 minutes in when DeAndre Yedlin, the defender, joined the attack and accidentally elbowed the Chelsea striker Olivier Giroud right in the face. The referee didn't see a foul, neither did his assistants, so the game went on, and the American crossed the ball to Joselu, who finished it and made it all square. It seemed like Newcastle had clinched the draw, but that was not the end of the story. A few minutes later, Chelsea were to take a free kick. A cross was made and the ball came to Marcus Alonso, who took a shot which went in off Yedlin's foot. The own goal made the American the scapegoat despite his assist, as the shot was most likely going wide. Anyway, Yedlin got deservedly punished. Though there was no VAR in the Premier League back then, it was karma to bring justice in that particular game. Sadio Mane and Joshua Kimmich. 0-0 was the score at the first leg match between Liverpool and Bayern in the Champions League round of 16. That was not the most spectacular fixture Anfield Road has seen, so the most notable thing about it was the accident involving Sadio Mane and Joshua Kimmich. The Liverpool striker got the ball on the right, but Kimmich did well to leave him as little space as possible and then blocked Mane's shot. As the ball went out of play, the German came up to his opponent to give him a true battle roar, but Mane only smiled as if he knew that his time was yet to come. It was the first half of the second leg fixture when Mane got the ball, went past the Bayern defense all by himself and left Manuel Neuer no chance with his precise shot. Though Kimmich wasn't on the pitch that evening, he surely wasn't pleased, as Liverpool won 3-1 and ultimately won the Champions League. We can only hope that these two hold no grudge against each other, as now they are going to play side by side at Bayern. Ruud van Nistelrooy and the Andorra defender. Years ago, when Ruud van Nistelrooy was still playing, his national team faced Andorra. The Netherlands were comfortably ahead when they had a chance to score yet another goal. A penalty was awarded. Ruud van Nistelrooy took a shot and hit the bar to the delight of the Andorran defender, who started mocking the Dutchman. That was not the smartest of moves, as you don't want to make Van Nistelrooy angry when you play against him and your team is already 3-0 down. Only 6 minutes later, Ruud made it 4-0 and celebrated the goal in front of that very defender. That was too much for the Andorra goalkeeper, and he pushed Van Nistelrooy, forcing the referee to intervene. As a result, it all ended with a yellow for the Dutch striker. Federico Valverde and David Raum. And now the most recent episode, which took place earlier this season, in the Champions League group stage. Real Madrid played RB Leipzig at home, and David Raum, who was defending against Valverde, blocked his cross and then got emotional and celebrated in front of his opponent. The German most likely wanted to affect Valverde's morale, but it backfired later that evening, as the Uruguayan is surely made of sterner stuff. 80 minutes in, it was Valverde who found the opener for Real Madrid. Though, unlike many others, he didn't come to Rome to celebrate his goal. The replay clearly shows that the Uruguayan was looking for his offender. PSG Borussia Dortmund. In 2020, the Parisians were on the verge of getting eliminated from the Champions League round of 16 for the fourth time in a row, as Thomas Tuchel's side lost 2-1 in the first leg. The hero of that game was the young striker Erling Haaland, who scored a brace for Borussia in front of the home fans. The Norwegian's meditation pose was and still remains his trademark celebration, but PSG players found it offensive and were determined to put the striker in his place. In the end, it was Tuchel's side to win on aggregate and go through. But the fun started after the game was over, as the PSG players, led by Neymar and Mbappé, sat in the middle of the pitch, performing Haaland's celebration. By the way, that Champions League campaign was the only one that led PSG to the final, where they lost to another German club, Bayern Munich. Jordan Pickford and Leonardo Bonucci. The Euro 2020 final ended up being a very dramatic one for a number of reasons. It all went down to a most nerve-wracking penalty shootout. When Jorginho stepped up to take a shot, there was a huge responsibility lying on his shoulders. Too much was at stake. And Jordan Pickford, the keeper, was at his best and saved the shot taken by one of the best Premier League penalty masters. Once Pickford parried it, he celebrated it with a stereotypical Italian gesture, thus making fun of his opponents. But Pickford's triumph wasn't meant to last long. The next one to take a shot was Bukayo Saka, and he needed to score to leave England in the game. Unfortunately for England, the youngster's anxiety got the better of him. His shot was parried by Donnarumma, and Italy won the Euro. While the Italians were celebrating, many of them, especially Bonucci, were chanting, "It's coming to Rome," trolling their English opponents and their "It's coming home" chant, which was an embodiment of the whole country's hope, which was shattered by Italy. Sergio Ramos and Ajax. In the 2018-19 Champions League round of 16, Real Madrid played Ajax, and at the end of the first leg, Sergio Ramos got a yellow card, fully on purpose, so that he could miss the following game. Ramos expected his team to do well against Ajax at home without him, as much more important games were lying ahead. That was what Sergio admitted in an interview, and for that he was banned for 2 more games. But in the end, that was probably the most stupid decision Sergio Ramos ever made. Real Madrid was demolished by Ajax 4-1 and got eliminated in the round of 16 after having won 3 Champions League in a row, while Sergio had to watch it from the stands, unable to help. James Milner and Casemiro. In 2021, Liverpool and Real Madrid faced each other yet again in the Champions League quarter-final. The first leg ended 3-1 in favor of Real Madrid, but the story took place in the second leg, as James Milner went for a brutal tackle against Benzema in midfield, which could have easily broken the Frenchman's leg. Surprisingly, the Englishman got away with it without being booked, but at the same time Casemiro was determined to avenge his teammate. So a few minutes later, Milner had to face consequences as he suffered from Casemiro's tackle, which was no less harsh than Milner's. And now take a look at Zinedine Zidane's reaction. The way Real Madrid manager watched it with a sneering smile. Goose hitting and biased refereeing. Back in 2002, the Dutchman was the South Korea manager in the home World Cup. South Korea made it into the knockout stage and faced Italy in the round of 16. The Italians were in control and leading 1-0, but they were denied by the late goal, so it went into extra time. After that, the referee Byron Marino made a number of terrible decisions which determined the outcome of the fixture. First, Francesco Totti was sent off for his supposed dive in the box, and then the ref disallowed Italy's clear goal, which was meant to become the golden one. In the end, South Korea managed to grab a late winner, thus going through into the quarterfinal, which was the reason why this match ended up being so controversial. Hiddink said nothing as he was more than happy with his team beating such a strong rival. Little did he know that he was yet to suffer from biased refereeing himself. In 2009, Goose was in charge of Chelsea in the Champions League game against Barcelona. 9 minutes in, Michael Essien found the opener for the Blues, and since then, Chelsea did look the better team, successfully neutralizing all the attacking threats Barca had to offer. Tom Henning of Rebo, the referee, could have easily awarded at least 3 penalties to Chelsea, but instead he only showed a red card to Eric Abidal, the Barcelona defender, which was a controversial decision by itself. At the very end of the game, Andres Iniesta's shot went in, and Stamford Bridge fell silent. The away goal rule meant that Barca were going through as the first leg ended in goalless draw. As Hiddink said after the game, he had never seen such a poor refereeing before. Though Rebo did manage to do even worse than Byron Marino, Goose should have realized that it was more like his personal karma. There are many ways for karma to punish footballers for their lack of sportsmanship. Though some of them manage to get away with it, who knows what will happen next? Maybe they only need to wait for the consequences for a little longer. Dear friends, which one of the stories we've told you about is your favorite? Please let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you soon.